YouTube. We're having some video issues right now. So Mr. Goodward's going to create a Zoom link and kind of sit here in the middle so they can access the content as we move forward. Well, I'm going to start by introducing our school board president, Dr. Hike. She's been with the board for a very long time, has a deep passion for the community as well as for our students. Please give Dr. a round of applause.
Amagon flag, good morning. The Board of Education would like to welcome you all to a new and exciting school year. Welcome all the new staff members. We're looking forward to meeting you and working with you. And some of you may hear my name as Tia in the community. Those of you that are new, I do go by Get a Hike now, but I don't mind Tia. Small community, can't get away from it. Each of the board members are awesome people. We hope that you get the time to meet with all of them. They do incredible things in the community. We're here to support you. We're open-minded. Don't be afraid of us. You're always welcome. Welcome to our board meetings. And we just encourage you to go into a new school year with positivity, open-mindedness, and patience. Everybody's kind of ambitious to get this new year started and education started. The kids are still coming off of that summer high, and I'm sure we'll go through some lulls as we're going into winter time. So just have patience with yourselves and with the students, and looking forward to a great new year. Thank you.
Another board member president, Lucienne Leachman, right here in the middle. She's been with the district for many, many years. Okay, moving now to introducing some of our community partners. I want to introduce the Honorable Mayor, Albert Smith.
Delaware. In our language, that's hello, how are you? And I learned that right here in this school district as a young guy maybe this fall from Mrs. Sarah Booth, bilingual teacher. Not a lot of it stuck. I do remember Delaware. I like to open with that now. So, I hear there's about 6 new staff. Welcome to Metlakatla. Our beautiful island is definitely something that I hope you guys stick around for a long time. Coach told me he ain't never leaving, so I like to hear that. Continuity is something that is nice to have here in the community. There's another issue that we're having across the state. A few weeks ago I was at a conference of the mayors in Sitka, and one of the biggest topics on the agenda was workforce. So we're having trouble here trying to fill some of our more educated spots that need degrees and whatnot to fill. And I'd like to continue to work with the school district back and forth with open dialogue on some of those positions so we could get them filled here in the future. The best way to do that is to build within, especially for our unique island we live on. So, Chelsea's got to be in here somewhere. My sister Chelsea Martinez probably in here somewhere too. So we'll be working with the counselor, hopefully a lot this year, trying to get some of that stuff dialed in so we understand. There's a lot of big things that need some things. You know, I could go off a list of things that we need, and I'll work with the counselor staff, our staff, and we'll get that going. But for the new ones coming to the island, also like to thank Coach and the staff that been helping work on some of the trails around the island. There's a lot of nice trails that have been done, and they're a lot of fun to go out on. I caution you right now. There's probably a few bears around, and there's some wolves that are getting a little too friendly. So. Usually they don't stick around when people show up, but they've been sticking around. So just if you go out venturing around, be careful. Try to be in groups if you can. And if you need the maps of the trails, Coach Scott might have some, or Janelle Winter will definitely have the maps too. Again, welcome to Metlakatla. Looking forward to another school year. Another thing that I'm pretty happy to see, not a lot of these on right now. That's a big thing for me. I'm about at it with all that stuff. So, but still be safe. Wash up regular, all the good stuff you guys all know. So looking forward to a fun school year. I can't wait to see the gym packed for all the sports and all the other events that come on. So with that, thank you.
Do we have any of our other community partners in the audience? Okay. If they come in, we'll pause and I'll introduce them as they come in. All right, I'm going to start by giving kind of a state of the district, and including that is going to be a report on our federal programs. It's something that we need to do every single year. So we want to be transparent on how these funds are being spent. And so this is probably going to take about 20 minutes, so hopefully we can keep your attention here. First off, we've done a lot of work this last year on our strategic plan. With Amy's help, this document has been put together. It's accessible. I believe there's a QR code in your packet for it. If not, we will make sure that you have the most current copy. It's not done yet though. We still have some work to do to develop the goals. But this planning committee, which included mostly community members, identified a new mission statement for us. And hopefully I get it right. Shagai Kumgut, all of one heart. Pulling together to foster compassionate, resilient, culturally empowered, and mindful citizens while promoting high academic standards to ensure success within a changing world. That is our mission, and we're going to make decisions based upon this mission statement and the strategies within the strategic plan. Those 6 strategies. Number 1, we're going to use our resources within the school and within the community. There's a connection in the community to further integrate Tsimshian culture to perpetuate the learning of the Tsimshian language. Number 2, we're going to prioritize effective communication both within the district and throughout the community in order to achieve desired outcomes. A lot of work went into this last year with the new website, with the new app, with the live feed. And you'll see some more changes coming this year. Strategy number 3, we'll identify, build, and maintain partnerships that open opportunities for social engagement to address the needs of the community. The community wants to be in the school. We need to be in the community. We need to build a bridge over some of those barriers. And this school is the center of the community, and this strategy addresses that, where we want to come together. We'll prioritize what we do to adequately prepare children from birth to third grade. That's a bold statement. That means we need to reach beyond the grades of our school and start reaching out to families before they come to us. And there's been some work that's been done on that already by getting reading materials out to families during the summer. Strategy number 5 will increase grit at every grade level to ensure engagement in a rigorous and relevant curriculum. There's going to be a lot of work this week with teachers on the meaning of engagement. And as we move through this, is being on task in the classroom engaged in the contents that's there. Those are two different things. Compliance and on task does not mean engagement with material. And the last strategy will ensure that every child will be prepared for post-secondary life that includes career of their choice, skills for happy living, and support to help them transition into the world. You just heard the mayor say they need workers. They need to fill key positions in the community, and they'd rather do that internally. Well, those workers come through our school district, those future professionals. Based upon this strategic plan, we've come up with some priorities for the district. And hopefully I can read this here. All right. And I shared these with the principals. So a focus on teaching and learning through the CEL 5D Plus framework. Focus on social and emotional learning. Positive school culture, not just for students, for staff as well. And then we're going to renew our focus on school safety. In addition to that, we are going to continue the priority of implementing Cincinnati culture into all aspects of the school. We're going to continue to expand the arts. We have a couple of art grants that we have ran through Shannon, and that's been a priority for the board for a couple of years now. And we're going to continue to develop real life skills with our students. Under teaching and learning, and you can see this pop up at the top of the list throughout the week. Train administrators and teachers on the 5D Plus teaching framework. Administrators have been through 2 days of training. They've already had 14 hours with it this last week. We'll have 3 hours with our teaching staff this week. Implement the 5D Plus inquiry cycle, as well as using a strengths-based approach. Continue our focus on literacy. We still have a literacy specialist and coach in the elementary school. We're going to expand that with Mr. Mike this year and having a math specialist and coach in the elementary school. We're going to continue our mentorship of new teachers. We have a partner with the state mentor program for first and second year teachers. We're going to continue with that. And what you're going to see is the development of peer support within the classroom. Focused collaboration time. That's a good chunk of time within the day for us to collaborate and work together in the schedules. And we're going to have that time be focused. And I know it's been used very well in the past. It has been focused. We're going to tailor that a little more towards the teaching and learning. As you notice, our special education department has been reorganized. We couldn't find 2 teachers. Every district in Alaska is struggling filling special education positions. And so we had to think outside the box. And thank you to Dr. Taylor for putting together a model that will serve the needs of our students outlined in their IEPs. And of course, we're going to continue with our partnership with Fort Lewis to develop our teachers with him. Here's an example, and I don't know if you can see it, of a crosswalk that I want to do for each of the strategies, and it kind of links the strategy to the strategic plan as well as to the 5D Plus rubric. So under teaching and learning, a desired result will be, we'll create a learning environment where all belong and are engaged. where the strategy we're going to use is the 5D plus teaching framework, the inquiry cycle, and the strengths-based approach. The activity for that to carry it out is training, continued focus throughout the school year on the rubric. Teachers, the inquiry cycle includes self-assessment, goal setting, identifying a focus area, pre and post observation conferences, opportunities for peer support, and of course at the end, an evaluation based upon the growth model. And that aligns with the strategic plan, strategies 4 and 5, and then on the rubric, you're looking at classroom environment culture 1 through 5, as well as SE 1 through 5. Moving to finances. Right now, we have a $9.9 million operating budget in the general fund. We have additional federal grants tied to that. There are cost increases in our district as well as across the state due to supply chain issues, materials cost, wages, and benefits. And it's interesting how a single part in another country can affect McAllen. And right now, our Friesen Elementary School is tied up with that. There's parts for it that we just can't access right now. We got the new condenser in. It came in damaged from the factory. We have to reorder. And it's hitting districts all across the nation. And there's costs, real financial costs that go with that. We're guarded, but we're not panicking. Okay? We're going to be okay. To help, we need to consider our needs, not our wants. And so when you come with a new idea for a purchase, there's going to be a couple questions asked. Does it benefit kids? Does it align with the strategic plan? Does it align with our goals? How is this really going to serve the needs of kids? Where we can, we'll shift allowable expenses to grants where possible, and we're continually going to seek funding from other sources. So the federal grants is something I'd like to be transparent about. I'll go through these very quickly. There's a note card on your tables. If you have any questions or feedback concerning the federal grants that we have and how we're allocating that money, please put it on the note card. We'll collect them at the end. Our first one is ESSA Consolidated. That includes Title I Part A. As serving a community with high needs, we are Title I school district-wide. And it's intended to strengthen the core program in schools to enable students to achieve the learning standards. And you can see that with a lot of the federal grants. They're going to come back to helping students achieve the state standards. Here is our budget for Title I. The grant award is $240,000, 210 go to personnel to support reading initiatives district-wide. We have our middle school and elementary school supplemental math and reading programs. iReady, iExcel, those types of things are tied to Title I. And then we have some money set aside to support students in need. Title II, this is where recruiting, training, and supporting high-quality educators and administrators comes into play. Some of our professional development is tied to Title II. Our grant award is $56,000. We have a moving allowance in here for staff that's outlined in the negotiated agreement. The 5D plus training for the teaching framework this week will come out of here. We have some money set aside for some projects for sustainable living. And we're supporting native language and culture training for staff out of this grant. And then our pivot evaluation tool is tied to this grant. Title VI Part A, or Title IV Part A. This is additional money to support Title I and Title II, and we just pull these funds into Title I and Title II. Special education, there's 2 grants tied to it. Title VI-B, this really supports our children with disabilities. Ensures children with disabilities receive a free and appropriate public education that meets their unique needs. very broad statement, but this money has to be geared towards serving the needs of those students. Our grant award is $113,000. 82,000 is in salaries to help the personnel, and then as well as our contracted services to support the students. Those are very, very expensive services. Contracted services is a huge piece of special education budget. 619 is just some additional money tied to it, and we help offset the cost of our speech therapy. CTE, this assists districts with improving secondary career and technical education programs. It is a supplemental program. It is not the full amount to run the program. There is a lot of hoops to jump through the CTE. It's one of the biggest headaches I have as a superintendent to apply for this grant every single year. And right now it helps partially fund our school program. Initially, the award's $15,000. We should get an additional $5,000 in December. Part of it goes to offset the cost of our instructor, as well as supplies and the annual inspections and liability insurance it takes to run the program. The last of our COVID money is ESSER 3. The other two grants have been spent down. Under the American Rescue Plan, this grant is designed to address the many needs of the district resulting from the pandemic, and we have to spend these funds by 2024. Currently, our grant was $500,000. Out of this, we're filling some key positions in the district to help us to get through the pandemic. Our school nurse, COVID coordinator, some SEL support for our students through a paraprofessional, and our summer programs come out of this. This is how we're funding our summer programs. We had an incredible summer program this last year, so ESSER 3 has allowed that to happen. The last grant is the Indian Education Grant. We have a parent committee that helps determine, parent and staff committee that helps determine how these funds are spent, which reminds me we need to hold a fall meeting, so those of you on the committee, be ready for an email. It's financial support to meet the unique needs, the unique educational, culturally related academic needs of our Native students, so that students can meet the challenging state standards. There's that common thread of federal grants, meet the challenging state standards. Ensures Native students gain knowledge and understanding of Native communities, languages, tribal histories, traditions, and cultures, and to understand that teachers, principals, and other leaders and other staff who serve Native kids have the ability to provide culturally appropriate and effective instructions to support such students. The grant for Indian Ed is $127,000. A big portion of that goes towards salaries for personnel. There is $7,000 built in for services, and this is where we need your help. If you find a need to have an elder in your community come speak to your class, if you see an opportunity for a partner that has expertise in a portion of the culture that you want to bring to your class, we can write a small contract for them to come in and connect with your students and have them connect with their community. There's a lot of supplies in here. Our cultural programs with Naomi and Gamache, some of those supplies come out of this grant. If you have any feedback or thoughts on how we're using our federal grants, please put those on the cards and we'll collect them at the end. I want to continue with this cultural education alignment. And we're creating a classroom right now in the elementary school for Gamache. I think it will be done before kids get here. We're a little bit behind, but it is a space that he can set up inside that building. We're looking at partnerships with Schmalgate speakers. We had an agreement for Mike Yell, as well as Donna Mae Roberts, to come down this week, and due to personal reasons, they will not be able to make it, but they will be back. That's important to us to connect our students to those native speakers. And there's going to be a lot of effort this year towards a native instructor, native language instructor. The work that we're doing with culturally responsive teaching, and some of that work will continue this week with Dr. Saponis, in trauma-informed practices, is tied to the cultural alignment. Thinking outside the box, looking beyond the culture through some of the traditions, the culture of the island, the economy, where we live in a marine environment. So we're starting to dabble in mariculture, marine biology, greenhouse, as well as some net outing specific initiatives. You guys know that there is a small kelp farm next to Ian and his crew out at Hemlock, as well as an oyster bed that's growing out there. Those things started in the science classroom. They brought in the spores, it grew in the science lab, and now that stuff is growing in the ocean. And we want to capitalize on those students' efforts. Just to announce, if I get this wrong, Trevor, let me know. On Wednesday evening at 5 p.m. at the Longhouse, there'll be a community forum to talk about all of the entities' efforts in this area and try to get everybody on the same page. What is MIC doing? What is Fish and Game doing? What are their hopes? What are their goals? What are we doing to support that? So 5 p.m. at the Longhouse, you're invited if you're interested in learning a little bit more about this. Under capital improvement, there's a lot there. As you notice, the paving and the access road have been completed between the middle school and high school. That was really an ADA access project. But it really uplifted the district. It's nice to have that pavement and those nice sidewalks where we can get between the buildings. I still can't believe how much better the district looks with that road that's through there. And it makes it safer for students to come up and down the hill and come out of the building. As you notice, even though we're behind schedule, there's been a lot of progress on the district housing fourplex for teachers. And we've had some significant repairs on some of our units. And so there'll be a transition once that fourplex opens. We have to get into one of the other duplexes and do a lot of floor work using water damage. The facilities and admin building is in planning. These are projects where money was set aside years ago, and it's just taken a while to get to the planning. Construction costs have nearly doubled over the past years, so we have to go back to the drawing board. I want to take a moment and thank our maintenance crew. So you guys in the back over here, Cameron, Raph, Mike, Cortland, Brielle, can you guys stand up for a second? I gave them a challenge a year or two ago, and I said, I'd like the district to look like Augusta National. I just left it there. And we're not there yet, but I can tell you the grounds look incredible. I've had a lot of comments from visitors, and it's evident that you guys care about your jobs, you care about how the district looks, because having an inviting district, having an inviting school, increases engagement in the classroom. And so thank you so much for you guys' efforts. School expansions, we know that there is a need to expand the elementary school as well as the middle school. And we'll be seeking funding for that this coming school year. We're going to add 2 classrooms to each of the buildings. We know there is a need for an auxiliary gym. This thing is just packed, and it's starting to impact student programs because those extracurricular programs increase engagement in the classroom. And then that requires us to make efforts to utilize our space in the buildings more effectively. So we get into situations where we have to put a wall in the middle of a big classroom to create 2 different spaces. And that's where we're at right now. There are opportunities for improvement. And using the TOPS model, they call them OBs. From the surveys that came out last year, as well as just noticing in what comes through the district office, we need to increase our peer support and our teamwork within the buildings. We need to work at solving problems at the lowest level possible. It's difficult to acclimate to the new normal. It's not back to normal, it is the new normal. Life has changed through COVID. Student outcomes. We see growth, okay? But that gap that took place during COVID, that is going to be an opportunity for improvement. Putting students first in our decisions. And of course, embracing change. One of the documents that's been around for a while, I covered this a little bit last year, but there'll be more training on it, is just setting some ground rules for collaboration and how we talk and interact with each other. Putting team members support one another to achieve successful outcome. Putting the team before the individual. Yielding our preferences to support other team members' convictions. Again, team before the individual. Assuming the best motive and redirect concerns to the source. And this seems to be the biggest hang up right now, is not assuming the best motive. And then taking concerns straight to the top instead of working things out at the lowest level. And the most difficult one is functional listening. Really listening to understanding. If you find yourself in a conversation and you're mulling over the answer before the person stops talking, that's not functional listening. And so we'll have some more training on our ground rules. All right, I have an activity for you. I'm going to show you two pictures. I want you to look at the pictures for about 30 seconds. With your group, I want you to discuss the significance of the pictures as it relates to education and AISD. And then consider the similarities in the picture. And then I'll call on a couple of groups to share out afterwards. It's hard to see. Can you guys see that? It is from the inside of the vehicle looking out through the window. How do these pictures relate to education? Go ahead and talk amongst your group and see what you come up with. Give it one more minute. By the way, principals, you can't participate in this one because you know the answer. right, let's wrap up. Finish your conversations. Okay, who wants to share? Any table.
I'll share right. So when I first looked at this, what I first thought was for restricting the size of a building, I thought the building was going to make classroom. There's not a whole lot of enterprises. It's more visual and possibly some smell, but it was very restrictive.
So really kind of a restricted environment stuck inside this metal box. Okay, any other ideas? Chelsea. Two Chelseas. Very good. Any other groups? Right over here.
Also, we have a picture on the right there, we're discussing about how it's an open ocean. Along with the open ocean, we have a vast expansion, so everyone can the expansion of mind.
Kind of the first picture is towards the mountain, and then you look at the ocean, you're expanding our outlook. Any others? Allie?
So like with Mars education, and then outside of it, it's life in the world, and you can't really experience it until you get out and go to it.
Very good. In the back, Amy.
We decided that if you're looking out the front, just as you're looking as the students are coming into the classroom this year, what you see is not the whole picture. It's just that picture. And there's so much more around there that we don't know about, and that's our job to try to explore.
Very good. I wish that I was that intelligent to where all of those things that you said, which are true and very enlightening, I wish that was my intent. But I'll take credit for it. The reason for this picture is look at the size of the front windshield compared to the mirror. Why is the windshield bigger than the mirror? Yeah, we need to look forward. This is a new year. We need to be looking forward to where we're going and just glimpse once in a while to our past. But our past is behind us. And as a district, we need to look forward. From COVID, from the last couple of years, we need to be forward focused on our students. So I wanted to let you know that I do appreciate each and every one of you. In everything that you do for the district. This is a new beginning. Keep an open mind, give it a try. Yeah, I've been taking my boys up to the weight room in the evenings, and sometimes they drag me off the couch to get there. And one of them will get frustrated on one of the machines. I can't do this. And I don't know how many times I've heard that towards the beginning. And the answer is, not yet. You can't do that, not yet. And keeping that forward thinking, putting our students first in everything that we do. And kind of a leading thought here is let's all work together for the benefit of the students that will be in front of us on Tuesday, a week from Tuesday, or August 30th. just appreciated everyone for their hard work over the last couple of years. There's been a ton of things that have taken place over the summer to prepare for you guys being here, prepare for the students. We have faith in your abilities and your dedication. I have a personal connection to the success of AISD and our students as you do. I have sat in many of the roles and filled the roles that you have, from paraprofessional, custodian, maintenance, teacher, principal. I understand the struggles and the challenges that each of you have in your positions. We've had 7 children come through this system. I believe in AISD. We have the pieces in place to really change this district. The team that we have put together cares about each of you, they care about kids. Incredibly talented in their disciplines, very experienced in leadership roles. The question is, what are we going to do with this opportunity that we have in front of us? And as we move through the day and the week, there's a pretty full schedule. I've tried to create as much time in your buildings as I possibly can. There are things that we do have to do and that we do have to go through. But with that, welcome back, and I wish you all the best school year possible.
So, fun reminders from me and my checklist. The last reforms in the packet that you guys picked up when you came in, those need to be signed and turned in, please. And we also need to be tracking driver licenses if you are driving district vehicles or if you drive students, on extracurricular outings. Please bring your driver's license to the district office so that we can get that on file. And then if you are a certified staff member, I have a contract modification for you from the contract or the negotiated agreement being finalized for this next 3 years.
Thank you, Ashley. I'm going to move now to introductions of staff. I'm going to start with some of our guests that partner with the district and some of the entities within it. First of all, I want to welcome Hetty Eigner. Eichner. Yeah, okay. From Indiana. Welcome.
Thank you.
Next, Trevor, if you can stand up. This is Dr. Trevor Saponis. He partners with us in many initiatives, and I'm sure he'll be speaking with most of you, if not all of you. New staff. I'm going to start with Dr. Nicole Taylor. She's our Director of Student Services that includes special education. Her office is out in the annex. And she will be talking with most of you as well. Missy Nigas, she is our special education teacher. Where's Missy? There's Missy in the back. She's coming to us from Kansas. Welcome. Megan Smith, high school ELA. There's Megan. She's coming to us from the Kenai Peninsula School District. Sandy Perez. Sandy is our elementary principal. She comes to us from Salem, Oregon. And then Mr. Mike Davis. Where's Mike? There's Mike. From Dillingham from Kansas to Dillingham. Yeah. He's our high school principal. We've had some staff shifts. Brittany Roy will be filling the 2nd grade position in the elementary school. Her classroom is just about there. Kathy Anderson is shifting up to the high school for ELA. There's Kathy in the back. Joe Henry is switching positions for the elementary counselor. Josh Gifford, athletic director, tight coordinator, testing coordinator. Are there any other switches that I have missed with for staff. With that, I am going to have you guys take a break, and then I'm going to release you to your buildings with your principals. We're ahead of schedule, but I think you'll appreciate having more time in your classroom. 1 second here, Lorna would like to make an announcement.
I'm Laura Porter, your new staff member. I'm president of Metcala Education. Can't hear you.
My name is Lauren Porter. I am president of the Metcala Education Association. If you're a new staff member and you need paperwork to sign up for the union, come see me or David Nelson or Hetty over there at the table, and we can get you all set up and answer your questions. We're hoping to have lunch provided by MEA if it works out with the district for tomorrow. Is that okay? And we will have like some basic sandwiches and things, and you can come check in and talk with us too and ask questions. That'll be tomorrow's lunch.
Thank you, Lorna. And speaking of lunch, Brittany, am I right? We'll be serving lunch on Thursday and Friday. Yeah, Thursday and Friday will be provided by the district up here in the Commons. All right. With that, have a great year. We'll be touching base throughout the week.